Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit of a mixture of a lot of things. There's a guy named Yoyo. Let me see what it is again. Yoyo English. That's on YouTube. He had a video a few days back where he was talking about, kind of like racist salespeople and, from different backgrounds of going in. And personally, me, I didn't have a problem with Kent Power Sports, and I'm not white, right? So I don't know, like, people have their moments. But this video is going to be cut in and out of the ride, the sound of the motorcycle, the highway, a little bit of my thoughts on day-to-day stuff, kind of what was going on. I was testing out cameras for the day, so I'll cut in and out as the video goes. But my main point of the video was I was kind of upset with Alamo Cycleplex. They're not called that anymore. But I went up there a few days after Thanksgiving, and they were a little busy. Nobody said hello or anything, and I sat on a CF Moto at the time. Kind of go into that story later, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then we'll start the video.
Okay, so I got these new boots, supposed to be racing boots, and I don't even know if you can hear me, but they're not working the way I want them to. I mean, I can downshift good, I just cannot upshift. Just living hell. And then trying to tippy toe is also hard because I'm not fully into the I don't like riding with my jacket open. I don't know how that happened though. Oh, somebody bought an ATV. You finally get like those women that wear the jackets and then they just open up on them and all their goodies start showing. It just happened to me. My goodies don't show though. 'Cause I'm a fat guy. So for those people that are watching, I stopped at Wood Cycle Country. I always thought it was Wood Cycleplex. I don't know why. I'm gonna talk about something, but when I get there I'll talk about it. But it's it has to do with buying motorcycles. Like, I know Woods is really good, but they don't really work very well with people on a budget type of thing. I kind of wish I had a gauge on here to tell me my tire pressure. But they're really good overall. I don't think they're good with upshift. They're good too. 3, 4. Okay. Kind of got an idea of how to do it with these boots, but it's still a little bit of a challenge. So the audio and the video might not match. I'm just letting y'all know. There it is. See, that's the only problem with the boot. Get caught now. Neutral.
So a couple things, I wasn't able to put it in the video, but I got some new boots from SIDI, SIDI. They're mag ones. They're really good. I got them a size bigger than my foot, but they're very narrow at the toes, so my left foot's a little bit wider than my right, and my left foot is killing me when I step off the bike, and I don't think that's how it should be. And so what ends up happening is when I step off the bike, I'm a little sore, you know, just in general. But my left foot, when I step down, I have a hard time gripping the ground because I'm on tippy toes anyway. And I can barely feel it with the boot because, like I said, it's like half a size bigger. So I got 11s, I'm 10 and a half. No, I'm not 11, I got 11 and a half, sorry. And so it's difficult with the boots. I know this is like kind of different stuff that I'm talking about all over the place, but I got the racing boots because I want to go to Circuit of Americas. It's in Austin, Texas, a bit north of me, and I want to do a race out there, or a what is it called, a track day, I think that's what they call them, and just see what it is. And also one of the boots because I need something to put on easy and off, especially going to work. It's really difficult to do the military boots, and I can't. Military boots, you have to strap and put, lace it up, and it's not a quick process. I'm going to work and getting there. I usually get like 10 minutes extra, so I'd have to leave 20 minutes earlier just to be able to take off my boots, put on my tennies, and start working. And the racing boots take me, I'd say probably about 30 seconds to a minute to take off. If I'm pretty quick about it. And the boots, they're just, when I'm tired, I just know putting the boots on, driving home after work, I would probably just put the tennies on, which defeats the whole purpose, right? So if I put these racing boots on, I could put them on pretty quick, take off from the house, and or take off from work and not be so exhausted and tired. That was the whole reason of getting them, right? Was just to do the speed up, to get it going, and to get it in and off the bike. That was the whole reason. So the second topic I was going to talk about was this Yoyo. God, I already forgot his name again. Hang on. Yoyo English, right? Like, he's got a little videos. He's got some nice stuff. He talks real, truth. And, he's got some stuff going on. And there's two Kent Power Sports in my area. So there's one in San Antonio off of 1604-35, and there's one in Kyle, Texas, south of Buda, south of Austin. If you're really looking at it, a little bit north of San Marcos. And I don't feel like they're racist or anything, or but like I said, I'm not white, but I'm not black either, so it's kind of one of those things that maybe the day I walked in I looked like I had money or something, I don't know. But I usually don't go into a motorcycle shop thinking about buying a motorcycle. I usually go in to shoot the shit, mess around, look at stuff, sit on things, and then walk out. It's their job to sell me a bike if I'm going to buy a bike. So most days I go in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy a bike, but I'm not really looking to buy a bike. And I'll tell them, hey, listen, I'm not really looking to buy anything. Just looking around. So they know, right? It's their job at that point to try to convince me to buy a motorcycle. And if they want to lose out on commission because they think that white trash or black people or Mexicans that don't dress well, they're not worth their time, that's on them. They lost the commission, right? And I get what he's coming from, right? Like, he felt a little disrespected. Me personally, I went to Alamo Cycleplex, like I said before, which is not what it's called. I don't know what it's called, Family Cycleplex or something, in San Antonio. And they were real cool. They were nice. The first time I went, the second time I went, which like I said was after Thanksgiving, nobody helped me out. The salespeople, they were kind of busy, but there was one free, but nobody was really helping me. The associates that were around with like the helmets and the parts and all that kind of stuff, they were really good. They helped me out quite a bit. Got some chain degreaser or chain grease and lube or whatever it is, and the what's the other one? The cleaning stuff for it, right? But they were cool. They were nice. But when it came to the salespeople back in November, like I said, nobody helped me out. Nobody was there. I was sitting on a CF Moto. The key was inside the motorcycle on the CF Moto. If I wanted to be a dick, I could have started both CF Motos that were there and just rev them until somebody came and helped me out, right? So, but I didn't want to do that. I was just chill. I was like, whatever, I don't care. The next thing was I was looking for a bike during this November-December time period. And I went to Ducati, BMW, Woods, Kent, and Alamo Cycleplex, right? The one that's not called Alamo Cycle. So I went to all those. When I went to Ducati, the guy's like, first thing, I walk in, there's like 3 or 4 people there. Somebody's looking at a jacket, somebody's looking at a bike, somebody's looking at, I think it was maintenance that was being done on their bike. And I was walking around the Ducati store, and the guy came to me, he was like, hey, do you want to see anything? You want to sit on anything? You want to look for anything? And I was like, no, I'm just looking around, right? Like, I don't have the kind of money for a Ducati. I was like, I wanted a Monster, but it was a little bit outside my price range. And what kind of stopped me from doing Ducati was the maintenance guy got a call from somebody that had I don't remember what Ducati, I can't remember what it was, 949 I think, or 9 whatever it is, but they had one of the street racer, right, or the street something. And he goes, hey, listen, you might want to take it up to Austin. We're just really backed up here. I think they were down at Tech. And that's the thing that kind of scared me about Ducati Aprilia, is that it's very specific of the dealership that you can take it to. Like, you could get your oil changed anywhere, right? You could do your own oil change, but I'm not going to send my, $30,000-$40,000 Ducati to, some rinky-dink place out in no man's land type of thing. So that was one thing that kind of scared me away from Ducati. The second thing was the distance from my current residence to Ducati. It was a long distance. So driving over there just to drop it off for oil change, for them to be like, hey, we can't work on it for like 4 or 5 days, to have somebody pick me up and take me back home, that was, I could do an Uber, but like I said, that's just not economically feasible or whatever. So the BMW store, I went to the BMW, and I mean, if I had saved up another $6,000-$7,000, I could have got that the RR, a really good deal, right? Because the BMW guy was hurting too. He was like, hey man, we're willing to make any kind of deals on this, because they had a 900cc bike there, white and blue I think it was. I can't remember what kind of brand it was, but they were dropping the price, because they call it a demo bike. They were dropping the price like $1,500 off the top of MSRP, right? So they were going to sell it for MSRP minus the $1,500 because it's demo, and then military discount, and then I don't remember, there was something else that was in there, and they were going to drop that price. But again, I walked in there, the guy was real nice to me. He said hello, helped me out right off the bat, didn't question anything. He's just like, hey, what are you looking at? I was like, originally I was just looking for some boots, right, some comfortable boots, so I could when I get my motorcycle, I have something to look at. But I had already picked out this bike that you're watching me ride on, the 8R, and I was pretty much going to get this bike. I needed some boots to ride. So the BMW guy was really nice. I told him, hey man, I really like this bike. He's like, hey, come by anytime, we'd be glad to help you out. So I said, okay. So then I left the BMW place. I was like, dang, man, I wish I had saved a little bit of money. Could have bought a BMW, but the same issue at the BMW is the same issue I have with Ducati. It's far from my house. There's not a bunch of dealerships. They used to have one off of I-10 and the Dominion area, and that was a nice dealership. And I guess they closed down because same thing. It's just been slow, and they had been in that shop for about 2.5, maybe 3 years. And so the issue I have with a lot of these places is that they're just not convenient when it comes to maintenance. Now, I understand, again, you're going to say it, but a motorcycle is a luxury. It's not a necessity. But for me, it's kind of like an everyday ride. Like, I have to do it for work. I need it. And then the cost and the maintenance for BMW, I feel like it's a little higher than most of the regular Japanese bikes. And the second part was, I feel like it's difficult to schedule something with them like it was for Ducati. And so I kind of passed on it. I mean, I would love a 1000 RR or whatever it was they had. Whew, man, that looked nice. But there was a 900, I guess, a naked bike that they had. That one looked really nice too. I would love to have, a BMW, right? Like, it would be cool to have something like that. It was within the price range that I was looking at, and he was, doing discount because it was a demo bike. And he would even he told me too, like, hey man, if you want, you can ride the bike a little bit, get it up on those miles so we can do the demo, and you can, walk it out. It's your bike. It's going to be a couple hundred miles, right, that are on there. It's not going to be a brand new, 0-mile bike or 3-mile bike, but it just kind of hit me about the maintenance, because the next dealership that's closest to me is North Austin, and if I ever have a problem, driving up there is the issue. And I just don't have the capability of waiting that long for another motorcycle. So then it led me back to Kent, a wood cycle, and then my original bike that I was looking at was a Hornet. And so the Hornet was a naked bike, and I kind of say it in the video, the wind on that Hornet, I'm pretty sure was the same as the Cruiser I had, the 1300 VTX a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure the wind would be the same exact on that bike as it is with the naked bike. So then I was like, the thing I have now is I do a Hornet, or I do the 8R or the Gixxer, because I always like Gixxers. I like the way they look. But the only issue with it is Woods would not, he didn't give any of his cards away, right? He was like, hey, we're going to give a discount if you buy today, type of, none of that happened. And so I just felt like they weren't really working with me at Woods. Now, I go there for parts, and I go there for maintenance for my old bikes a while back. But as far as the sales part, I mean, the guy was really nice. He talked really well. But I feel like they wouldn't make a really good deal in general. And then the second thing was, I went to Kent in San Antonio, and right off the bat, some guy caught me. He's like, hey, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? And I said, oh, I'm looking for a Hornet, because they have Hondas there. And he goes, yeah, what, have you looked at this 8R? They had a 2024, which I'm going to talk something about it, because I went back just recently. They had a 2024. They were willing to send 10.5 walking out the door, tax, title, license. And I thought, that's a really good deal, but it's a 2024. I wanted the blue and white one, because that's what I originally had seen when I looked online at them. But he didn't have a blue and white one, and because Kent is a sister store with the one in Austin, they didn't have the blue and white one at the time that I was going to get mine, right? So when I was talking to him, he's like, "Oh, we have this black and yellow, and then we have the blue and black, or blue and silver with the rims." And I thought those would look nice, but I really like that white and blue motorcycle. So then, right after that, Kent, the guy was like, "Hey man, I gotta make at least $3,000-4,000 on this," and I understand, right? You gotta make some money, and I couldn't do the yellow and black. I just felt like a bumblebee. It really stood out a little bit more than what I was hoping for, and I just stopped right there.
Okay, thing about the boots is I really have a hard time doing tippy toes, and I can't bring them in anymore. I'm stuck on that. I wish this truck would give me a little bit of space. Okay. So anyway, Kent Power Sports, supposedly by this guy, said that the hang on, let me get through this. Now, bitch. Don't do it. Should scare the shit out of me. I don't like coming down here. This is not I'm gonna do it because I need to, but I shouldn't have come down here at all. But I wanted to do a little video, get the bike moving. I was watching a video where this guy almost crashed into a dealership, going into a dealership, and he stole a helmet. They got all mad, they're like, this Timo helmet, blah blah blah. this is a little sketchy around here. And now I know why old people don't like construction. They really don't know what's kind of going on. But at least there's a couple of roads back here that I can notice. No through traffic, private entrance.
So going back to that guy, like everybody has a different experience, and my experience at Kent was pretty okay overall in general. I didn't have an issue or a problem with him. I just, like, I get that they have to sell a bike, because I was talking to a guy that was there, and they said, hey, at Kent or at any dealership, they have to start paying interest on that vehicle if it's been sitting there for too long. So they can't send the vehicle back. Sometimes, like Kent, what they'll do is they'll pay the vehicle completely off, so they want at least their money back of whatever they paid. But if they leave, you know, if the dealership leaves it sitting there for a little bit, they have to pay interest on that, so that's why they want to, you know, the highest price. I just thought it was kind of crappy that I went back to Kent, and that same bike that was for $9,500 or something, you know, I come back to it, I think 15 days later, 20 days later, and it's $8,200 now. Same exact bike, right? It's the yellow one, 2024. I think it's $8,400 or $8,600 or something like that, when they had it for like 90 something. And that's why they were willing to make that deal so easily, to go, yeah, we'll do $10,500 for it, because they weren't losing too much off of it. And I was getting gloves and jacket and all that kind of stuff, but I just felt like they could have gone a little bit lower on the price to begin with, maybe another $1,800. And but it had a lot on there, right? It had the tail tuck, it had the sliders, it had the what is it? The levers, the different kind of levers, and so they put a little bit of money into it. So I can kind of see why they wanted to get a little bit of money out. But I was like, it's a 2024. And the other Kent was willing to give a 2026 away for the exact same price, for 10, I think 10,800 walking out the door. And that's the thing I liked about the Suzuki. I was looking at the Kawasaki, and then saw all the recalls in the Kawasaki, so it kind of freaked me out about generally Kawasaki, you know, the 600s, the 400s. I was kind of, you know, I don't really want to deal with that. But and I know Suzuki's had issues in the past too. You know, every motorcycle brand has. So I was like, okay, what if I get the Suzuki. There's 5 dealerships within the radius of me. There's the New Braunfels one. There's the San Antonio one. There's the Austin one, and then I could even go further into San Antonio and get maintenance done there if I needed to. So overall, I was like, it's pretty good. I can do wherever I can go and get maintenance pretty quick. And because I'm close to 500 miles or 600 miles, sorry, close to 600 miles, the maintenance isn't that big of a deal right now during Christmas. I called and they're like, hey, you can come in on Tuesday, drop it off. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm like, I can drop it off at any one of these dealerships and get it done pretty quick. It doesn't take a lot. But I keep on messing up, right? So going back to what that guy said. He went to Woods. Woods worked with him. They didn't question anything about it. They didn't, say, hey, can you pay for this? Whatever was in his video, right? Like if you go watch his video, I'll try to link his profile so you can kind of go see the video. But I just thought, for me, they seemed pretty nice overall. Talked to me, asked me questions, and I tell them right off the bat every single time, hey, look, I'm not looking for a motorcycle right now. I'm not really interested. I'm sorry, I say this. I'm looking for a motorcycle right now, but I'm not really in the market of buying just yet because I need to see what's out there. This bike, and this bike are what I'm looking at. What do you have similar? And that's what I liked about the 8R. It has that. It's a little bit upright. It's not so aggressive, especially because my wrists were broken in the accident, and so I don't need that aggressive feel on my wrist. I need that little bit more upright general feeling. So that's kind of where I am, and I get where he's coming from. I totally do. I didn't see it happen to me whatsoever. It didn't really affect me that way. And I don't know, like I was saying, some people have off days. Some people have, they're just not in the mood. They've been selling bikes. I'll give you a great example. I went to the Honda dealership in New Braunfels, and I walked in there, and there was a guy that was talking to me from the parts area. I was like, yeah, I want to buy a bike. And the guy that was there comes walking and goes, what bike do you want? I was like, oh, I don't know, really. I'm looking for kind of a sports bike, CBR 600. And he's like, well, here it is. It's right here. And he was completely burnt out of selling bikes. He didn't want to do it anymore. He was over it. And so in that aspect, that could be what happened, right? That guy might have walked into the dealership. They didn't help him. They were kind of like, I'm tired of selling bikes. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm burnt out in general. They don't want to do it. I don't know the circumstances these salespeople are, right? And then the Kent one, they asked him that weird question, which that's a learning experience, I guess, for people. You don't ask them questions like that, or not. The cycle place one asked him that question, like, how are you going to pay for this? In that aspect, I'm like, it's learning. You disrespected somebody. Hey, I feel disrespected. Boom, I'm out. Fuck off, type of thing. And for the 10% people, I appreciate y'all sticking around this late for this like 37 minutes. But the last part of this is just right. If you have any questions on ADAR,